It's the final race of the day here at Catalunya, and we've had two different winners so far, but both have been Nissans. We've had Andy taking his first victory of the season. Lee takes another victory, moving him closer towards the championship in race 2. And can't really see past the Nissan getting a race win in this race, and I don't think it's going to be DTI Dave's Nissan, because he's reckoning that's 5 or 6 seconds off the pace around here. We've got Graham on pole position though in the Jag, so an opportunity perhaps for a reasonable finish in the Jag, but Graham was struggling getting the first race and the second race here today, as he has most of the season with that car. So DTI Dave alongside in the Nissan, got Dukes lining up third in the first of the Mercedes. Dukes has had some really good races this season, but not this time. He's not doing so well today. We'll have to see what he can pull out the bag in this one. Chrysler gets another decent grid position, but he's been struggling in the Jag. Got race 2 winner Lee lining up in 5th. Oz mid-grid, which seems to be about his finishing places today. It's about as high as they can drag Mercedes. Dom's in 7th, Josh is 8th, Mark 9th, Martin 10th. Coops championship contender is 11th, and race 1 winner Andy lines up at the rear of the grid, so he's got a long way to come forward. It's a good start. Someone's got to drive through. I think it's Graham's got to drive through, and there's cars off everywhere. There's going to be a safety car for sure. There's cars rolling in the background, and is safety car being called? I think it has been. Yep, they're slowing down. So, a bit of a hectic start on that one. I'm pretty sure I saw Dom's silver arrow up in the air, so that was pretty unfortunate for him, but it is a safety car for anyone joining now, and I think, pretty sure I saw flash up that the race leader Graham got a drive-through penalty, so we'll see at the end of this lap whether he peels into the pits. He seems to have gone already rather confusingly, which I wasn't expecting. Perhaps he's just warming the tyres up, so they will bring all of the cars together. DTI Dave will inherit the lead, I think, subject to Graham pulling in the pits. Oz is in 3rd place in the Mercedes, ahead of Chrysler, Andy wins, Coops, Dugabus, Martin, Lee, Mark and Dom at the back. So it was Dom's car, I think it was up in the air. As I say, thank goodness damage is turned off. They've let the Jag go, so they're letting him do his drive-through. That's interesting, because he needs to come out the back. They can't let him retain first place. If he's created his own drive-through, he's in the pits, so there was a drive-through called. DTI Dave does inherit the lead, and Martin really needs to catch up. These guys really need to catch up, because these guys are so far back. I don't know what's going on at the moment. DTI Dave is waiting there. There's Martin. Oh, Martin's got a drive through as well. DTI Dave has just disappeared into the distance, so he's going to have to wait for the rest of them, which are led round by Oz Phillips. Here they come now, down the start-finish straight, so I think they're all going to catch up with DTI Dave. The running order will be DTI Dave, Graham will not be second at all, so it'll be DTI Dave ahead of Oz, Chrysler in 3rd, fighting over that place already with Andy, so Chrysler's dropping back, and we're back racing again, I think, but for some reason DTI Dave is well out in the lead, so these guys are going to catch up. Oz has thrown it off though. That's interesting. Wasn't expecting that. But we're not back at full racing speed just yet, so not quite sure what is going on. The guys now getting their feet down. Ah, right, okay. So Andy has gone up and past DTI Dave. So really very confused as to what's going on now. Andy leads ahead of DTI Dave, ahead of Coops. Has Andy got to go into pit lane, I wonder? So I think Andy has re-inherited the race lead. They're back to full racing speed again. There we go. Siding down the straight. And I'm very confused what happened with DTI Dave. So Andy re-inherits the lead. He could be on for 2 out of 2 today, and Andy's starting from the back of the grid. This could be quite a result. Coops is in third, but sides down the inside for second place as they head towards the right-hander. Slightly cambered this corner, so you can get a good bit of speed, but the camber seems to rub off mid-corner. You see Dave's car struggling for mid-corner grip. It's not the same car that those race leaders got. Oz has recovered to 4th, but further back we've got battles everywhere. There's less than a second between the race leaders as well. Graham recovering from his drive-through and he's in 8th, battling for 7th with Josh. It is Porsche versus Jag, and Porsche holds on for now, that black and red Porsche. Jag almost making a move. I don't know if there was contact there, but the Porsche is off into the wall. Recovers it very quickly, and as I say, great that damage is turned off, because that would have been over, game over. And now Mark moves up, Dom moves up. Out in the lead, there is just a second between the 2 race leaders. Coops will be desperate to try and get a win this time, but Andy has been so fantastic so far today. He's had a 1st place and a 4th place, and will be looking for a win here. DTI Dave maintaining 3rd at the moment, and that's a cracking job, but he will be having to hold off from Mark, I think, before long, because if Mark can get up and past the Mercedes of Oz, and it does seem that the Mercedes has not been particularly quick around here, I expect Mark is going to make a move fairly quickly as we'll go on board with him. Now watch the mid-corner speed through here. I think this is where the Nissan's very good. Oz makes a big mistake though, and that was straight through for Mark. There was no need for a second invitation there, and I think there was just, it was partly the mistake and partly the mid-corner speed that Nissan produces from its downforce. But out in the lead, Andy really having to defend from Coops now, just half a second between these boys as they head down towards the hairpin, down this short straight. Short straight, but still doing 160 mile an hour. Coops goes deep though, and that's exactly the kind of mistakes that Andy might capitalise from and bring home a 2nd victory today. If Coops makes errors like that, DTI Dave is maintaining a brilliant 3rd place, to be honest, because that's not been the car to have around here by any stretch. Mark's in 4th at the moment, Oz in 5th. And we see Dom and Lee going hammer and tongs. Lee tries for a move up the inside, can't do it. They get the cars stopped without clashing into each other, and banging over the curb goes the Mercedes. And as they go out onto the straight, I expect to see that Lee can't keep with Mercedes. Look at the exit he has, brilliant exit, great mid-corner speed. Then look at that Mercedes launching to the distance. And this is what he's trying to battle. DTI Dave has managed to get back up to 2nd place. Coops has made a mistake again. Oh, DTI Dave's in the lead. I think Andy and Coops must have come together. Oh, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. And DTI Dave capitalising brilliantly out of the lead. We should watch a little bit of this, because I think Andy will be very keen to get this back. It should be an easy win for Andy, given the trouble that DTI Dave is having with that car. But he's going to have to be patient. He's got a lap and a half to make the move, and he's got the better handling of the 2 cars. Let's see what he can do as we come up the hill into the right-hander, fling it through the right-hander. It's just a little bit of slowing, a little bit of brakes down a gear perhaps, and Andy looks right, he looks left, and as they head down towards the hairpin, he goes for a really big dive. It's a big move. Dave gives him space, and Andy takes the place as a tiny bit of contact. but it's a good move. Oh, that was a really good move, Andy. I mean, Andy's definitely got the car underneath him, so we can't take anything away from Dave. Dave is struggling with that not very easy car. But, oh, and he almost loses it. But what a fabulous bit of race between the two of them. And now it's going to be a battle over second place, because in theory DTI Dave should not be able to hold on. If all of his complaining is to be believed, he should not be able to hold on from Mark or Coops on this last lap. But he actually seems to be closing in on Andy. I think the straight line speed of that Nissan is better than that of the long tail Nissan. But through the corners, look how much Dave has dropped off, and that is going to give Mark and Coops an opportunity to catch. And here we go. Mark almost looks, can't do it, but this is the mid-corner bit, is where there is so much speed. Look, Mark having to slam the brakes on again. He needs to go for a daring move, I think, to get past Dave on this last lap and secure that second place. And he's got a hungry Coops behind him who almost throws it away, gathers it back together, but he's lost a whole heap of time. But it is battle on for second place. Dave holding on valiantly, but he can't quite do it because Mark gets up the inside. That's a brilliant move. Just saw how much more car he had underneath him, and Dave again gets a bit of a slide on. Here comes Coops down the inside into the hairpin. They rub, they bang wheels as they go down the straight onto the brakes though, and ultimately it's game over for Dave into there, and he gets a bit of a slide on, which isn't going to help his cause. And I think Andy's dead set for his second victory of the season and the second victory of today. The battle is not completely over here, but it is for Andy. He comes out onto the final corner, onto the straight, and just see him through there, and he has taken the win. Excellent win, Andy, second of the day. Mark recovers to second place. Great job. Coops, you should have been further up again, but a great podium spot and a really good finish from DTI Dave in a very difficult car. And speaking of which, best of the rest, or certainly out the non-Nissans, we've got Oz takes a fantastic fifth. Lee gets fairly middle of the road in the end. I think got caught up in a few things in that. Dom gets a decent 7th place. Graham doesn't get one of his better results, but still not bad considering he's in the worst car. Dudes is 8th, Martin is 9th, Chrysler 10th, and we seem to have lost Josh, who was in the Porsche. And Chrysler comes out of the final complex. And when he crosses the line, we will get confirmation of the race result. And there we have it, the second victory of the day from Andy, but the quickest man was again Coops, but throws it away. We didn't see what happened, but I think there was contact between him and Andy. Mark, a really decent second place, and I have to say, shout out to DTI Dave because his lap time not far off at all there. And that's it for tonight.